Okay. All right, super spreaders, let's get it. Wednesday night. Now, I had the strangest wake up today, strangest sleep. Did Tuesday happen? Is it just me? Did Tuesday happen? I don't think it did. I did Monday, and I had weird sleep, and I edited hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of video. And now it's Wednesday. I'm not sure how that happened. Give me a 1 in the chat if Tuesday didn't happen for you. We got a new format tonight whereby we're using a conspiracy theory corkboard here to get through the news. What's news? Let's see. Just going to get the chat set up. Everyone give me a second here.
Get through the
Okay, cool.
news.
Audio verified. Audio verified. Man. I can't wait till I can hire a kid to run this chat for me. It's just bonkers trying to deal with all this stuff and talk to you wonderful people. Just getting the chat overlay done. Activate source. Yes. Trigger a fake message. Did we get a fake message on screen? Yes, we did. Now if I replying to fake message. Okay, cool. Everything's working tonight. I was getting triple chats showing up and stuff. Last time, everything's looking under control. Let's get into spreading the news. What do we got first of all? So I'm using the, I remember when, excuse me, when Apple announced the new operating system update last year. And they're going to have this thing freeform. There was barely anything interesting that they announced, except this freeform thing. But then I was watching this video today of one of the Mr. Beast ex-employees, and he was outlining a giant conspiracy theory, and he had this giant screen up, and it's a Windows application, and it let him just put all these media things into context on this giant screen. So let me zoom out. And I can just add all sorts of media and links, pictures, anything into a giant kind of presentation that I can freeform scroll through. So great for this stuff. And we're going to start with a bit of news. Then I'm going to show you a presentation of the economics of lockdown, which is this giant presentation here of an excellent, absolutely excellent deep dive into what really happened on the lockdowns, what's really important in the world. But first, we'll do some dumb news. All right, California. Yay, California. All right, always such wonderful things happening there in California. A group of illegals tried hijacking school buses carrying children on their way to school in California. The school now says if migrants are spotted at bus stops, then the bus won't stop. Reminder that Kamala is our border czar. Let's take a quick look at this. The Jamal Dilzura Union School District. Does that sound like it's in America to anyone? Doesn't to me.
A group of migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was
You guys getting the
traveling to
audio?
school. The superintendent for the Hamul Dilzura Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Hamul Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Yeah, wow. Good stuff. Great. It's going really well there in Cali. Equally well is Colorado. Allegedly, an armed gang of illegal immigrants from Venezuela has reportedly taken full control of an apartment complex in parts of the town of Aurora. New footage reveals an armed gang at a complex in Aurora, Colorado. Let's see what this shows. Doesn't look good from the thumbnail. Holy shit. So they're just showing up and kicking people out? All right, things going really, really well. Seems like we're on an immigrant trip tonight. Hope that doesn't offend anyone. From Maxine Bernier. Have you ever wondered why Poilievre never pressured the Liberals to reduce the number of foreign workers? He never even said something as mild and obvious as Trudeau said yesterday. It's because the fake conservatives are even worse than the liberals when it comes to mass immigration. And he's got a point. So look at this, like now with the election coming up and the numbers tanking, and now you're seeing like obvious results that we predicted of opening up the borders, of creating these mass schemes to get people like in super fast, get them jobs, give them government money. Guess what? It's hurt the labor market. Justin Trudeau, we're reducing the number of low-wage temporary foreign workers in Canada. The labor market has changed. Now is the time for our businesses to invest in Canadian workers and youth. So just in, effective immediately, those with visitors' visas are no longer eligible to apply for a work permit within Canada. While the temporary policy was set to expire on February 28, 2025, IRCC is ending the policy as part of its overall efforts to recalibrate the number of temporary residents in Canada and preserve the integrity of the immigration system. You know, so you can see there. So they had it like to auto cancel next February, but it's gotten so bad. I'm sure when they implemented this, they wanted to make it forever. But it's gotten so bad, they're not even going to review it in February. It's just, they're killing it now. Here we go. A Toronto Star investigation has revealed the federal government is fast-tracking applications for temporary foreign workers by directing processing officers to skip crucial steps designed to prevent fraud. Yeah, sounds about right. It's clap, unclap, invasion clap. Indeed. Final immigration point. Pope Francis seems to be saying it is a grave sin to reject migrants. Would someone like to tell him that nations and tribes are God ordained? This is Friar Calvin Robinson. I'm going to have to check its account out. He might be rad. Open borders are unscriptural. Globalism is of the Antichrist. The entire Vatican City is surrounded by a huge wall to stop people just entering the smallest country in the world. It's just like rich Democrats who are like, yeah, let's have open borders, and except we're living behind a wall. Let's check out the wonderful Pope Francis.
Bisogna dirlo con chiarezza. C'è chi opera sistematicamente e con ogni mezzo per respingere i migranti. Per respingere. E questo, quanto è fatto con coscienza e responsabilità, è un peccato grave.
What do all these people think? Do they
Signore, e con i nostri migranti
like this?
nel mare no.
They just
Il Signore è con loro.
go with
Non
it?
con quelli che vengono. In quei mari e in quei deserti mortali i migranti odiosi non dovrebbero esserci, e ce ne sono purtroppo. Ma non è attraverso leggi più restrittivi, non è con la militarizzazione delle frontiere, non è con i respingimenti che otterremo questo risultato. Lo otterremo invece ampliando le vie di accesso sicure e le vie di accesso regolari per i migranti, facilitando.
Well, okay, I guess that's that. Gonna switch things up here. Give me 1 second. We'll get the new scene set up. That should be done by my underqualified, underpaid 15-year-old intern. So I'm gonna find up here somewhere. All right, let's get some Knuckle news going. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. Let me get into the history here and find this rad vid I watched yesterday. Yes, here we go.
One of the best vectors for innovation in the games industry that people.
Here, we just worked with a lot of different people in a lot of different capacities. We do everything from kind of script writing to narrative direction.
You guys hearing that with like an echo? I think my mic's stupidly loud. You guys hearing a bit of an echo? Maybe it's on his stream. So this is a great channel. Jay the Concept. He's only at like 8.5K. And wonderfully interesting to watch for an American black man's perspective on the pandering that's going on within both the, specifically here the gaming industry, but of course it's exactly the same in the entire entertainment industry. So let's check this out. I'm hearing like a little bit of an echo when I play this, so just let me know if you guys are hearing that.
Here, we just worked with a lot of different people in a lot of different capacities. We do everything from kind of script writing to narrative direction to sensitivity and representational and inclusive reading. We do kind of story punch-ups, script doctoring, whatever touches story, we'll do it, and we've done it for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways.
Guys, we got some shit that I just found recently. Let me tell you guys, just full disclaimer, first of all, I don't like to take credit for finding something that I technically did not find myself. This information I'm about to tell you guys right now, I'm on the page right now of what I just found. I was going down a rabbit hole and I was doing some research on, you know, just the shit I do research on. And I came across this YouTuber by the name of Griffin Gaming. I'm not going to take no credit for this at all. And the video that he put out blew my mind. It literally blew my mind, but it's not surprising at the same time. But this just proves my point. I would not make this video if I did not have evidence and proof for it myself. But since I'm a part of the entertainment industry, from what I want from the future of entertainment, because we all enjoy entertainment, shit like that. We like games, we like movies, we like TV shows, anime, stuff like that, right? So that's my whole spiel. So I care about where entertainment is going. Now, so I'm not going to bullshit. I'm not going to, you know, prolong this. So let me just get right into it. Apparently, the boogeyman that you guys thought that I was just fabricating is actually real. It's called Sweet Baby. We're on the site right now. I like that little circle that they got going on. It's kind of cute, isn't it? You might be wondering, why am I on this Sweet Baby website? Let me show you. Apparently, Sweet Baby, and I think a lot others like this. I don't think this is the only one. I think this is just one of these companies that exists. Sweet Baby apparently is a company, well, let's just see what they say from their own mouth. Founded in 2018, Sweet Baby Inc. is a narrative development and constellation studio based in Montreal. And working around the globe, our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, more inclusive for everyone. This is a company that actually exists. This is true. I did a lot of deep diving before I opened my mouth with this video because I didn't believe it at first, especially just from the name itself. It says Sweet Baby. That just seemed like bullshit. But the thing is, it's actually true. It's actually very fucking true, and I implore you guys to do your research on it first. But we're going to do some deep dive on this to actually show you, in case you guys think I'm just a conspiracy theory type of guy who just bringing up these type of topics for no reason and basically is ruining your perspective on your entertainment. I'm actually telling the truth here. And I bet you a bunch of other people like me actually thought this was common sense. But so, the services that they offer. We believe you need diverse voices to solve diverse problems. Sweet Baby Inc. provides narrative, constellation, at any stage of development, boasting a talented team with vetted industry experience to best bring your story to life. They cover writing, narrative, representation, and development. Is this starting to connect the dots with you now? I made a video not too long ago talking about how Spider-Man and Insomniac Games and the Marvel was basically being fake woke. And the reason why I think that is very valid now. Because watch this. Let's take a look at their projects. We love making games, no matter the size or scope, and we're always excited to help you tell the best story possible. Fuck you. So let's see what type of projects that they had a hand in. This is actually going to blow your mind also, but it's also going to prove my point. Check this out. We got Sable right here. First of all, I'm pretty sure you guys know about this. Let's scroll down a little bit further. Does these projects look familiar to you? Let me give you a minute. We got Alan Wake 2 that just came out. I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what this is, but I'm focusing on the big studios. This is where the big issue lies at. You got Alan Wake 2, which explains why the game isn't about Alan Wake. If you guys remember the last video I just put out, I brought up how Marvel was doing this thing on Disney Plus and just with their entertainment in general, to where they're introducing these side characters, where they're sidelining the main character but calling it what the main character is as the name of the game. Why did they do this?
To influence purchasing decisions.
This just explains why Saga, who was originally white, is now turned black, and why you play the majority of the game as her and not Alan. Am I still a conspiracy theorist now? Okay, let's get into another game. God of War Ragnarok. Angry Boda. I personally didn't have a problem with it, but now I know. But I still...
I just want to say, like, you might have noticed I'm showing a lot of game stuff. We're seeing, like, the convoy kind of mindset. The where those of us under, resisting the vax and under lockdown, we're pushing back against Ukraine narratives. We've had enough. Mainstream dudes who don't think about anything except work and then coming home and logging on to World of Warcraft or, grabbing the new shooter game. They're now experiencing that. So we're having there was what even the left called Gamergate 2 just happened, where it was proved again that companies were journalists were colluding with developers to this company. This is why I'm playing this Sweet Baby Inc., a Canadian company that receives our tax dollars, and then when they get involved with companies, receives BlackRock ESG cheap loans and buoyancy on the stock market, plus tax dollars in their own country because they're ESG. This all got blown up just a couple of months ago. It all came to the surface because these games were coming out one after another from huge publishers that were just horrible and just bombing and had just such obvious, political bents written into them, and everybody started to go, what is this? Who are they? Why are they doing this? And every lead character is a black girl with the side of her head shaved off and rainbow afro and stuff like this, and everybody's just like, anybody can. It's cool that we're getting more girls into games. It's cool we're getting more girls into anything. But at the end of the day, the buying power and the audience for gaming, and everyone knows this, other than, phone games, is white males in Europe and America. This is the crowd, nerds that want to go all in and give their lives up to get into a game. And all of a sudden, games started showing up, not only saying, fuck you, you're wrong. It's going to be black women with the gay women with the sides of the head shaved out. But they're going to release broken. They're going to be bad. They're going to be derivative. And they're going to have pay-to-win mechanics in them where they want you to keep, paying money every month to play the game instead of just the original 60, 70, 80 bucks to buy the game. And this has been going on for years. We're in now, I would say safely the second decade of this happening. But it takes time because your average gamer just wants to play games. They might be as political as they want to be in their real life, but as far as buying games and consuming product goes, they don't give a shit. But now it's gotten so bad that then they're now having kind of like their freedom convoy moment, and they're really, something's going to happen. Something is going to break. While they're doing this, all the game journalist companies that are all totally BlackRock owned, IGN, Forbes, trying to think, PC Gamer, these huge sites that for decades we relied upon to get the reviews first, and they were the only ones. Remember, pre-internet or pre-YouTube, the only people that could have an article ready to tell you whether a game was worth buying or not was one of these huge multimedia conglomerates. Now that is all changed, and now games know that they need to sell to individuals like Jay the Concept that we're watching. In my case, I have my super legit Dollhouse Studios channel that reviews pro audio plugins, and I get reached out to by pro audio developers on the daily wanting me to use me to reach the audience of pro audio dudes that will take my word for it, and if I say something's good, then they might sell it, right? So that's the new sphere, and these are just actual dudes. They're not going to lie to you. Well, some of them might lie to you, but either way, this change is coming, and the journalists are fighting back, and it's turning into this massive culture war, and it's just exactly like it was for COVID and the lockdowns. And Gamergate, if anybody was around that, it's basically happened again, except both sides have gotten smarter. So you're seeing on the left and the pro-corporate side, you saw them kind of declare it Gamergate 2 and then quickly get to say that everyone's racist that says anything against, this game, that game, this Sweet Baby Inc. company that Jay, the Concept, is talking about here. And I've had multiple streams about this company because I've felt that this is coming together now. The gaming and the politics and the entertainment, it's all coming together now. and they got out ahead of it. Meanwhile, the streamers have all gotten smarter too, and people, gamers, just like us, we've all gotten smarter. We've learned how to retool our channels. We've learned how to speak correctly, yet still poignantly, and it's resulting in never before achieved successes. So the latest 2 or 3 of these massive woke fests that have been directly influenced by these consultancy companies that come in and demand literally millions of dollars to overhaul the scripts and make everybody black with a shaved side head and rainbow afro. They've all bombed. The games have bombed to a degree that no one has ever seen before in the history of creation. Normally, we just had a PlayStation-owned studio release a massive attempt to try to take over the kind of action multiplayer shooter space that games like Overwatch and Valorant and stuff like that, some of the top 10 games in the universe. They spent 8 years, they spent $250 million buying the studio when they saw the initial product. Probably the game itself probably cost $100 million. Then there was advertising, and at its peak, it couldn't even get 1,000 players playing. This is in a market of 1 billion people, right? So, I mean, absolutely shocking. And then the other one, I've had a couple streams where I've showed off Dustborn, this game that was given $1.5 million by the Norwegian government and $500,000 by the European Union. And it's being called Woke, the video game. It couldn't break 100 people playing. I think its all-time peak is 70 people playing. And this game costs tens of millions of dollars to make, and it's maybe sold $7,000, $10,000 worth of merch. So unheard of victories are happening now because the normal gamer has absolutely had enough. Just like the average movie watcher now has absolutely had enough, and these woke ass movies and woke ass games are tanking on unprecedented levels, while they are still trying to do the same argument. The reason that Dustborn didn't work, or Concord, or any of these woke ass games, or Star Wars: The Acolyte, the reason they didn't succeed is because you are racist, and they're still clinging to this, and some of them, I guess, still believe this. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And they tell themselves, there's one of these channels I was watching, I hope that we see it in this video, it might be his other video, and he plays this big like promo piece that the woke crowd put out. I can't remember, I think it was leading into it was for election or something, and it was just a bunch of these idiots saying, there are more of us. There are more of us. These assholes have convinced themselves that they are in the majority because all they do is turn on their media, the biggest media companies in the world, and who can blame them? These are the biggest media companies in the world, telling them that everything you think is what everybody else thinks. And that there's just this tiny, we know the narrative in Canada, the tiny fringe, unacceptable minority, tiny minority with unacceptable views. And they believe this, but then they try to launch their products that are correct in their terms, and literally no one buys them. They're now losing billions of dollars in entertainment, and Disney and the whole 9 yards, still trying to cling to the idea that it's this bizarre far-right regime that is doing this to them. So anyway, let's continue this guy's excellent take.
Knew why Angrboda was a black girl and not what Angrboda would really be like in Norse mythology. Nordic. There's no black people there. So the reason why she's black is because these people, sweet baby. Is it starting to make sense now? Okay, let's move on to the game I just talked about, Spider-Man. Worked on Story Constellation. Do I even gotta explain why it's common sense that these people worked on this game? Do I even gotta explain it? I don't.
No, you don't. I saw screenshots. One of the missions, Spider-Man has to help a kid have his gay prom date, and then there's a whole section where you take control of and play as a blind black girl in the streets of New York. And throughout the entire game, you play as Mary Jane, who is turned into, let's see if I can find this, Spider-Man 2 Mary Jane, who in the books is just like, I mean, you know, everybody remembers from the comic books. She's just there. She's like been turned into like a boy, and just like super uninteresting, fugly, and there. So I mean, that's Mary Jane. Let's try going into like what actual fans of Spider-Man would expect from Mary Jane. See if we can get some good art. Right, this is what we grew up with as Mary Jane. She's like, it's kind of part of the story that, you know, this dork Peter Parker scores, and in the comics it's cool. He's always just trying to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck this up with Mary Jane. You know, she was glamorous and gorgeous, but she was also professional. It's not like you can make the argument that she was weak and stupid, but they made her into a guy. So let's see if I can find this. Mary Jane self-insert. We can find it here. So this solves it. So here is one of the developers on the game. So it's one of these fan fiction self-inserts. Like, I'm square-headed, and I'm not no diss to her. I'm ugly, whatever. Like, only a few of us can be supermodels, right? But Mary Jane was. But that now social justice made Mary Jane into this strange, dorky, thick feature. And then beyond that, they take your agency away during the game, and there are several levels in the video game where you play as gun-toting, ass-kicking Mary Jane, who goes in and clears out the room. And she's like 90 pounds, and she goes and beats up the thugs and shoots them and stuff. And and then at the end of the game, Peter Parker's like, oh, I don't know, it's all getting to be a bit much, and hands over the Spider-Man costume to Miles Morales. So now Spider-Man is black. You know, which is okay. I mean, they did that in the comics, in a strain of the comics, but it's just a lot. And when you look at the hard fact that the vast majority of the money for these games is coming from, you know, traditional white people boys in America and Europe and Australia, what's there to get excited about? Why would you be excited about this? Where's the hero? The hero, like, takes a back seat. His ugly girlfriend takes over. You're getting gay guys together, which is like, it's okay, but it's just not, you know, it's just not the most manly thing in the universe. And then gets handed off to someone else. So why would Peter Parker be your hero? I feel bad for kids growing up in this environment. I mean, I feel so old when I say it, but it just felt like it was so simpler when I was young. It just had, you know, Star Wars and stuff, and like, there's your hero. There goes my hero, right? I mean, it was simple. Damn, let's see what Jay's got to say.
No, because I did it the last video. MJ is a fucking menace. She's John Wick with a gun. And the reason why they allow MJ to be the way she is because of inclusion's sake, but it's fake inclusion. It's from these guys. So I believe that there are multiple versions of these companies involving the games industry, because not just the gaming industry, I think it's all of entertainment in general. It's ESG scores that they get to where it's like, how inclusive are your projects, all funded by Daddy Black Rock. Am I saying shit that's gonna get me canceled? I really don't give a fuck, because this is my industry and I take it very, very seriously. Sweet Baby, and I think along with many others, are doing this with movies, TV shows, games, and stuff like that in general. So I'm not just bullshitting. I'm not just saying this shit. I know it gets on your nerves. I know you guys just want shit to be normal. It's not happening. I'm sorry, it's never going to happen if they're hiring companies like these. These companies are literally doing what people like you say that we are, being just triggered or just coming up with a boogeyman and shit like that. This is the boogeyman. This is literally the boogeyman. Let's see what they worked on in God of War. We worked on narrative and character constellation, which explains Agrabota, with a focus on representation. That's
Brother's got to work on consultation. He keeps saying constellation.
the reason why they changed most of the people in God of War Ragnarok, where it's based off of Nordic mythology and the characters that aren't normally supposed to be that way. Oh, it's not a big deal. Okay. Alan Wake, we worked on character art, voice, and sensitivity reading. I don't even got to go into that. And then we got the game that looks like absolute shit. I just watched this trailer to this game too. The Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. This game is going to be shit anyway. And now I know why. We worked on script writing, banter, cutscenes, barks. I don't know what that is. Audio logs, maybe collectibles in the game where you collect audio logs and shit like that. They probably have sensitivity and inclusion, banter in the game to where it makes it more inclusive for you and safe. Let's check out our clients, the clients that they have. This shit is crazy. Xbox Studios, Electronic Arts, Valve, Sony Santa Monica Entertainment. That just makes sense. 2K, Ubisoft, that perfectly makes sense. Square Enix, I didn't think that. That's crazy. Warner Bros, yep. Rocksteady, makes perfect sense. Arkham Knights, I forgot what they worked on. Avalanche, gee, holy shit. Remedy, People Can Fly. And these are big names that everybody knows. Recently speaking, what I just found was a couple videos that I want you guys to look at right now, because these are the co-founders. And I'm gonna just let them say out of their own mouths what crazy shit is going on behind the scenes. Check this out.
We just worked with a lot of different people in a lot of different capacities. We do everything from kind of script writing to narrative direction to sensitivity and representational and inclusive reading. We do kind of story punch-ups, script doctoring, whatever touches story, we'll do it, and we've done it for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. But I think before we kind of start talking about the story of us, in order to kind of contextualize it and make it relevant / interesting, let's just talk through what it is that we do and how we do it right now, and then we'll go through kind of our history and the learnings that we've had as a kind of unique right now team moving through an industry that is always full of chaos.
These motherfuckers based in Canada, they got 1 star. I wonder why. Oh yeah, here's the video right here with Griffin Gaming. I suggest you guys watch this video because he literally told me this was a good video for me, and I just was blown away. Single-handedly ruined every single IP they put their little hands on. I hope Pillows are got. These people are going at it with this company. I'm surprised people don't even know this exists because they only got.
Actually showed. Welcome. Remembered Nora, her energy. Oh, where's my pick? The Thark one's her favorite.
So this is the first video I came across from this guy. He's only like 8.7K. So he's like, 4 times our followers on YouTube, but still, this is small for YouTube. Everyone give him a follow, Jay the Concept. Fantastic. But this is the video I came across, and he spits some truth in this. The first one I showed was months and months old.
Yo, there was actually a game that dropped that kind of reminded me of this other game that I wanted to talk about before. It's called Dustborn. So apparently, their numbers weren't bad enough. So the studio who made Life is Strange is a woke game anyway, but they decided to make another game that looks just like Dustborn. Like exactly. So I don't know what is wrong with these people, but I want to check this shit out just to see what it, just to see. Look, I want to prove a point as to this is why shit is failing. This game, from what I've seen, is literally.
I love the
just to see. Look, I want to prove a point.
Fellow kids. Hello, fellow kids.
As to this is why shit is failing.
And look, like everybody's thick and weird. That's Dustborn. And this is this other Life is Strange vid. And look, it's all girls, and they're all like, can't one of them be kind of traditionally pretty? Usually in a group of 4 or 5 girl friends from high school, you'd have one that was kind of traditionally pretty. I guess these are like the goth outsiders.
This is why shit is failing. This game, from what I've seen, is literally DEI the game. This is literally everything wrong with games like Concord, Dustborn, whatever the fuck that is, and this shit right here. They all look the same. They feature the same characters. So I want to take you guys, I want to torture y'all today. I want y'all to go down this path with me of cringe.
The power of many.
So let's watch this shit together and see what they got packing,
Yes.
right?
Here's
Accolade.
some bullshit that happened somewhere today.
We got the rock band, of course, the one black girl.
Honestly, Swan, I'm glad, but slightly surprised that you showed up tonight.
Okay, listen. First things first, I went to art school after I went to my schools, right? I went from public school to art school, right? This is
What was
after I
that?
went to my schools, right? I went from public school to art school, right? This is I would say, you will see a black girl like this in every single art school that you go to. With this hairstyle, the fucking bandana thing, the curls and shit, whatever the fuck this is hanging from her ears, 2 different earrings, whatever the fuck, and this jacket, whatever the hell. This just symbolizes I come from not a black neighborhood. I come from a place where I'm privileged and I'm woke. You can just tell who she. I hate to say this because I'm not in politics, but it's just obvious at this point. You can tell who she votes for. She's not voting.
So this is my point. Like he's saying, I'm not in politics, but gamers are now finding themselves in politics.
For the other guy. I hate that. Why do these game studios have to make all the characters like a uniform? This is a fucking woke uniform that she has on. And you know what's funny? You will see all this shit in art school. I kid you not. This is so cookie cutter. And it's always one black girl.
Memories came flooding back.
Yep, they got a rock band.
Hey, she actually showed. Welcome!
It's gonna get better picture
Jesus
going here.
Christ.
Nora, her energy.
There we go. That looks better.
Where's my fucking pick? The dark one's her face.
Bro, this is like literally made from people who were never cool in their life, and they decided to, and they finally got into the game studios
Yes.
where they can actually tell stories and shit. So they make games for people to where they think the millennials are the majority of the, the customer base. They think that the woke mob is literally the majority of the customer base, but they don't realize because they fail every fucking time when it comes to the numbers.
This is always my point too. The cool in these video games is what 33-year-old English lit and Wiccan studies majors in university think cool is, and all they do is tell each other how cool they are.
And that's why I think that all woke people are narcissistic. I don't think that they actually live in reality. I think they live in their own little bubble because they believe that they're the main character. That's the reason why they keep on making shit like this, and they fail every fucking time. And that's why you get lines like this. That's just cringe as fuck.
I remembered Nora, her energy.
These people are just so purposefully ugly.
Where's my fucking pick?
Like this, these dialogue lines are fucking terrible. This is literally from a person who's never been cool in their life. Never. You never been cool. You never been considered cool. So now you're trying to make cool shit because you think that the woke culture is today's society. This is the type of shit you get.
The dark one's her favorite. I remembered you. Nice one, Autumn. You were the coolest.
No, you weren't.
Wisdom. Never land on your wrist. I want to see you skateboard, Autumn.
I bet you one of them a lesbian too.
Whoa, watch out! She was like a firecracker. Fuck!
These are from people who never cursed before in their life. What the fuck is this, man? fuck. And listen, when I say one of them is gay, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying it's just cookie cutter. That's why I brought up the fact that she's black. I already know they gotta have a black girl. She's the only black girl here. And when they try to represent us, they do it in the weirdest, lamest way possible. It's like, why do we always have to be dorks, rejects, and woke? Why? That shows you who's a part of the industry. It's just stupid. This game is cringe.
Band name. How about Bloom and Rage?
You're gonna get 400 players max.
Yeah, bro.
Last week, my mom found a package on her doorstep.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait. Our blue range. We haven't heard anything for 27 years.
Shut the fuck.
Why do black people make the best reaction videos? That's a question.
We haven't heard anything for 27 years.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, we're not done with this cringe yet.
Oh, no.
We're not done. Now, before I play this, let me know if you see any differences, any changes between the first one I showed you and this one.
We're going into Dustborn. So, 500,000 from the Norwegian government, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Might be a little less. No, 1.5 million from the Norwegian government. Taxpayer dollars, poor Norwegians. And 500,000 from the Economic Union of Europe for this game. And this is their third or fourth game that has sold like 40 copies that they've gotten these grants for. They just keep getting these grants. So these people making these games don't give a shit if they sell. They're just going to go make another one, throw up their ESG score, and get millions and pay a bunch of blue-haired freaks to create garbage like this. You guys, if you haven't seen this Dustborn thing, you won't believe it. I can't remember how much he shows of it. You're not going to believe what this is.
Point out all the similarities, right? You got the rock band, of course, right? I don't know why they think that that's always the thing that you have to put in here, but they just think that rock band symbolizes cool. I don't know why. Oh, the kids love rock bands and shit, right? So they just put it in everything. I think this bitch got revitiligo. That's the reason why her skin is going away. So she has some type of skin ailment for disability purposes, for inclusion sake. Really? You want to create a character with revitiligo?
Well, I got revitiligo. It's the opposite of what Michael Jackson got. Lucky bastard.
You got the black girl in the center, right? Just like from the last video. You got the black rocker from the center, right? How often do you see this shit? How often do you see this in real life? They did
None. There was a great trend in the late 80s of black rock bands starting to actually show up. But then it kind of re-whited. And it's too bad because black rock, not black rock is incredible. I wish there were more black frontmen and black rock going on, but yeah, you don't see it in real life, which shows that when you see it here in the video game, they're just telling their own story.
the same formula from the last game to this one. And this is a whole different game. Completely different. These woke people have zero ideology. Let me turn this up for y'all. Hold on.
Oh my God. So, as many of you know, I am a professional music producer and audio engineer, ran a recording studio in Ottawa for 15, 16 years. I know what it takes to make good music, and I know how much it costs, right? So just me, in the recording phase, it's like $80 an hour, $90 an hour. So this is how Norwegian citizens' taxpayer money was spent, making the worst music ever recorded in the history of creation.
Oh, we're gonna watch the whole thing. I'm not skipping it. I'm not skipping nothing. We're gonna listen to this in its entirety. Y'all gonna suffer with me. That was it?
That was different. You make a living doing this?
We're a bit rusty, and it's been a long day.
Yeah, sure.
Y'all suck. Look at this shit. You got her in the middle, of course, the black girl. You got the overweight Revitiligo. How often do you see this shit? This person doesn't exist, literally, in fiction and in real life. So, because you're trying to be inclusive and representative of real life, which you say you are, You actually think that this character exists? That this person, and she's in a rock band with the same, randomly, a black girl that was just like the girl in the last video. Y'all think this, y'all are cookie cutter. Y'all are the most boring cookie cutter type of uninspiring people I've ever heard in my entire life. This shit is, I guarantee you this guy's gay. I guarantee you he's gay. And he's probably bi, but he's like probably the only soy straight dude in the group. Okay, if anything, I think he's straight, but he's soy. He's gay because he's wearing all pink and he's, you know, the tight pants and everything like that. Bro, I'm an artist, so I know how artistic people, or I know how people who try to do art, I know what they're thinking when they're creating these characters. So I'm not just a regular guy just looking at this shit and being like, oh yeah, this is what I think is going. No, I know what's going on. They made his shit light colors on purpose. They gave him blonde hair going to the side because they want to symbolize that he's gay, a part of society. But these people are so stupid, they don't realize that they're doing the same shit that we as black people get offended by. It's like y'all use the stereotypical versions of everything because y'all have zero clue on what real life actually is. Not every gay person looks like this. Not every black person have to be fucking rocker hip and shit like that to be cool.
That's such a good point. In Ottawa, before, you know, the recording studio and video editing became, you know, financially viable enough to become my only income stream, I worked in kitchens. I'm also a trained chef. And nothing brings that home quicker than to see that. You'd see, you know, the queeniest kind of classic gays strutting around, usually on the waiter side, but not always. And then you'd eventually find out that you had some, you know, other gays, cooks and waiters and stuff. You'd only see them, you'd get them like alone later and they'd confide in you like, oh my God, dude, this LGBT rainbow stuff is out of hand. I don't want anything to do with it. Or, you know, even more to the point, dudes that you worked with for a couple of years, you didn't even know, and you'd find out they were gay. They were like truck driver types, and they're just gay. So, you know, Jay, the concept's point here is valid. These idiots are so obsessed over the outward appearance of people that, you know, Duran guitar player here represents the gays, and then, you know, the poor truck driver kitchen worker gays that I knew, they have no voice, they're not allowed to speak, they're not part of the LGB.
Cool in one of your games. This is not black culture. It's not. Yet you got two black girls doing the same shit in two games, being the leads of a rock band, but you want to represent black culture. Get the fuck out of here, man.
By the way, that song could be considered offensive in the Republic.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my God.
People here don't like politics with their entertainment.
Oh, this is so on the nose.
Your band name?
We're the Dustborn.
Ooh.
We're the Dustborn.
Title card.
We're so fucking cool. Shut your ass up. I wanted to show y'all that because guess what? I want to show y'all the difference between what game is going to be good and which one is not. I want to show you some numbers right quick. As you can see, Dustborn has a total of 42 fucking players playing it. This is what
42 people worldwide, the entire universe on PC, because you get it through Steam and they track how many people are playing real time. 42 people out of an audience of, there's probably close to 1 billion people on Steam, I would think. So let's do this. Let's do this. One, and how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, divided by 42. Oh no, it's the other way around, right? 42 divided by 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 0.0000042% of the gaming population is playing this woke achievement.
what you get when you make DEI the game. This is literally DEI the game. Both of them. I had to talk about that because I was like, this shit is too on the nose. I was going to talk about this one first because this game came out before the other one that's going to come out. And I was like, hold up a second. This seems familiar. I thought it was actually the same game, but it's not. So I was like,
Everybody, more people showing up, especially on Rumble. Unfortunately, Twitter doesn't count because Elon, what are you doing, man? You have to open up the application interface to allow things like Rumble Studio and Restream to collect numbers of viewers. Because I need, we're experimenting with Rumble Studio. And the cool thing is, instead of e-begging from you guys, I can just read ads. But we need like 15 more people before I can read an ad. So that's the goal tonight. We're going to listen to a cheesy but highly libertarian conservative ad company. If we can get 15 more viewers in on Rumble to share it around. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's spread it.
This seems way too familiar. It looks just like the game that I was about to talk about, but I decided not to. So I had to I had to talk about this in the video. But we're not done yet because I want to compare something. I want to show you guys the difference between a woke game and a game, because the industry is changing. I would say the interest of the gamer is actually changing too, and we're becoming more of together than people actually think we're doing apart. So if you guys remember, I recently made a video about Black Myth Wukong apparently lacking diversity, right? And how Screen Rant made a review docking points from it because they lacked inclusivity and diversity. I don't get how you as a thinking sane person would be like, oh yeah, I gotta deduct points because it's lacking inclusivity and diversity. I'm sure everybody will understand. I'm pretty sure they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh man, they should have put a little bit more diversity in there. I can see why she docked some points. What in your right mind would think that that was a good thing to put? That shows you you live in your own world. You live in a world where you is written by you, directed by you, and all the extras are you. That is the only way you would think they're writing this. This is a complete lack of awareness for you to even put this down in the con section and think that people will back you up. Maybe your small little circle that you only stay in because it's safe. But then as soon as you go outside of that box, all of a sudden you're getting all this hate and you can't take it because welcome to the real world. Most of the world don't think like your fucking bubble. And this is what I be telling people. These weirdos who be coming up with these reviews and these people who be actually infiltrating the industry, they are not gamers. They are privileged people who wants to play victim or who think that the whole story is about them and their viewpoints. That's the reason why this shit is getting hammered. And that's the reason why Black Myth Wukong hit more than 2 million players currently today. And 2 million players were actually logged on and 2 million players are playing right now. This is what happened when you write bullshit like this. This single-handedly boosted the sales up of Black Myth Wukong through the roof because people are tired of shit like this. And they're tired of that bullshit I just showed you at the beginning. The numbers just speak for themselves. There's really nothing you can do. There's really nothing you can say. The numbers speak for themselves. These guys are clowns and they know they are. They're not gamers. They're activists. And because the woke mob can't stand this shit, right? I already knew this was going to happen. You're going to get smears happening like crazy because Black Myth Wukong gaining 2 million players during the first day is actually going to blow up the woke media anyway. Because I already knew this was going to happen. What's going to happen is this 2 million player count is something that they can't ignore. They cannot ignore this. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to come up with slander pieces, try to make up who's the player base that runs that's a part of the 2.2 million so that they can try to discredit it even a little bit. They need a win right now. But so you got articles like this from PC Games saying Black Myth Wukong drops nearly 2 million players in several hours. So you got the readers added context down here checking their ass. China is the country with the most number of gamers, followed by the US. Most of them going to sleep at the same time isn't anything unusual nor worth an entire article to be written on. The author just wants to mislead readers with clickbait. This is literally what they're going to do. They're jealous and hating. Let them cry. Y'all lost. We won. And they saw it from a mile away. And it's from that fucking Screen Rant review that actually caused this stuff. Congratulations. You played yourself. Oh, but more good news is happening too because more woke shit is just being tore down left and right. I'm so happy that the shit is actually going downhill. I'm going to give you guys some good news. The Acolyte got canceled for season 2. The power of the power of none. I'm pretty sure we've seen this coming from a mile away because the Acolyte has been there's been a tug of war battle happening on Twitter, basically saying that the Acolyte is doing good from one side. Everybody's swearing up and down that the Acolyte is doing good, and then you got the sane side that's basically like nobody wants this. Star Wars fans don't want this. Y'all just like this shit because it fuels your narcissistic activist needs. That's the only reason why you want this shit to be successful. And you're lying about the success of it because you want to basically demonize this side and be like, hey, you were wrong. People do actually want this. This side is so delusional. They think that's why I say they're narcissists. They believe that this whole story of life stars them and is directed by them. They literally believe that they own everything. They had the nerve to put this. Oh my God. This is what they put for the failure of the acolyte. The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us. I love this shit. Let them cry. Stupid. Quit lying. How about you stop lying? If you told the truth, nobody would be this petty with you. But you're lying. Y'all are liars and copers. Cry. Black women are one in the Star Wars universe, plain and simple. I even let go that we are the villains. It's saddening and infuriating. I love this world, but it obviously doesn't love me back. Get your bitch ass off. Get your bitch soft ass off this platform. Jesus Christ. And this is a black woman. Look at this victim mentality. Apparently this world don't want me anymore. I love this world, but it doesn't love me back. Shut your weak ass up. You are a grown woman. You're not owed anything in this world. You have to get out there and earn it. Earn your respect. You don't just gain respect simply because you exist. You have to do something important for people to want to care. That's what people got it twisted like this. When it comes to this shit right here, this victim mentality, they think that just because they're in these type of shows that they're owed respect. Just because you're a black woman in the show, people are just supposed to rally behind you. What are you doing in the show? Are you showing it respect? Are you accurate to the source material? How's the story? How's your character? Is your character annoying as fuck? All these factors, but they ignore all this shit just so they can play victim and being like, the only reason why it's failing is because they don't like black women. Shut your goddamn ass. I can't stand disingenuous people like this. You know why it failed. Because it sucked. And it's disrespectful to Star Wars fans. I'm not even a Star Wars fan, but it's disrespectful. We got another good news too. This is just going to be an info dump. You guys remember that? That hit piece for Wukong. Since the success of the game, I guess they got off Twitter. They're gone now. Everybody is leaving. So you got the person who wrote the what's the name, the Screen Rant review. She's basically being protected. They removed her name from the authors list. Now you got this bitch who actually wrote this dumbass article. Now she's off at X. We need to start exposing these people and basically calling in the exterminators. Get rid of these people because this house is
So see, they're reaching their moment. They're where we were 2022, the Freedom Convoy. Gamers are getting there. I'm a lifelong gamer, right? So, I mean, I remember my father coming home with Atari Pong game. We played fucking Pong and we were excited about it. And I've kept up. Now I'm too kind of grown up, too much shit to do. Rarely get into a game, but I still will get into one every year, pretty much, and I'll just lose my life to it for a few weeks, and then pull myself back. But I still am fascinated by the concept of gaming and the mechanism of gaming and the pop culture of gaming. And they're experiencing exactly what all the rest of us are in media and in journalism, quote unquote, and news and everything. And they're exposing the connected media sources that are, mockingbirds that are lying to them, openly lying to them, and running grifts where they're, the Gamergate 2 thing is because this game that came out, this Black Myth Wukong, the first kind of big action game to come out of China to the rest of the world, they attacked it because obviously it's threatening to their woke developers in America, that a Chinese developer who doesn't give one shit about any of this woke stuff could get big. They had to come down on it. And it turns out they were colluding. They were sending messages to each other. That Sweet Baby Inc. company that Jay the Concept and I have covered earlier, that's a ESG consultancy company, tried to ask the developers of Black Myth Wukong, the Chinese developers, for $7 million to clean up their script and make it more quote-unquote inclusive. And the developers told them to eat dirt. The developers, when they gave out the free codes to YouTube influencers to play it and review it and put it on their channels, it came with a long list of shit that they couldn't talk about. Amongst them were COVID-19. Couldn't talk about COVID-19. Couldn't talk about feminist propaganda. So you can see why these people hate them. So the moment that the Chinese developers turned down Sweet Baby Incorporated, turned down their $7 million offer to ruin their game, all of a sudden IGN, one of the biggest games journalist companies, came out with a defamatory article claiming that they had been hearing from Chinese people that the developers of Black Myth Wukong were insanely racist and misogynistic and problematic and all this stuff, and ran a giant smear campaign to try to scare them back into hiring Sweet Baby Inc. And it didn't work. And the Sweet Baby Inc. games, all for the last 2 years, have been utter, total bombs. I'd love to add it all up. They've probably lost over $1 billion for various developers with their social credit games. Meanwhile, this Chinese game released to 15 million sales in 72 hours. We just saw that Dustborn had 42 players. Concord, the PlayStation woke game, has 200 players. Black Myth Wukong is still now, almost a week later, 2 million players. So, the writing's on the wall, and the actual gamers, non-political gamers, are now rising up and just saying, enough.
Infected. It's infested. Get these fucking cockroaches out. They don't belong here. They don't. And then when they're here, all they do is infest. It just causes destruction. Get them out the industry. I'm glad I'm seeing this shit. I know what you're thinking. You're like, damn, Jay, you want to see people lose their jobs? Yes, I do. I'm a business owner myself. And guess what? The one thing that I do not like is when people come into a business that they do not have the best interest in. If you do not have their best interest in their customers or the progression of the business and you're just doing nothing but hindering it, I want you to lose your fucking job.
My God, preach. Jay the Concept for president. Let's go.
Guess what? I will fire people the same way too. If you're destroying my business and if you don't look out for my customers, you're fucking out the door. You're fired. Period, point blank. So yeah, I do want them to lose their job. I want them gone. And so should you. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about this shit right quick. I think this was interesting. I'm loving Black Myth Wukong right now. I did 2 live streams. I'm about to do another live stream tomorrow. But to me, Black Myth Wukong right now is I would say it's better than Stellar Blade. It is. It is. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, but it's not by much, but it is better than Stellar Blade though. The combat is fantastic. The world building is fantastic. I like the story of Wukong anyway. It's fantastic anyway. So I just know this story. So I'm more invested in it than most people would be. So I actually love how they did Wukong. I love how they did the world. I like that they actually put time and effort into, at the end of each chapter, to do an animation, because I'm a 2D artist. They had the nerve to put in a full-fledged 2D animation at the same level of fidelity as a Love, Death, and Robots episode after each chapter. This game was made with love, period. Like, there's no half-assing in this game at all. This is pure, heart. I can just tell. That's insane. For world building purposes, along with the big set pieces that they got in the game, it's just fantastic. It's a love letter to Chinese people. So yeah, I'm loving this game. It's cool as hell. I'm going to be playing this shit until I actually beat it. It deserves all the praise it's getting. These 2.2 million players are warranted. But I can't lie, it was helped by ignorant ass people like this. You played yourself. But yeah, we're winning and we're going to keep
Congratulations, you played
shifting.
yourself.
Gamers are getting sick of this shit. I'm so happy. I am glad. The 2.2 million players just proved it. It's dominating right now. Let's keep winning. Apparently it's the Asian market that want to carry the torch. So you know what? I'm going to rally behind them all the way. And so should you. Peace.
Has a prosthetic arm.
Wait, what?
The albino.
Oh my god! This game at all? Have you heard anything about this?
Literally, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Razor
this
Fist.
This is a game that has been called
This
the
guy's
wokest game
force of
ever
nature
made. Okay. Now,
some stiff competition in that category, but okay, I'll go along with the premise.
Well, here's what you need to know. In this game, you have multiple abilities and power-ups to learn from, including such wonderful power-ups like the ability to cancel people. You have learned how to cancel someone.
Oh my
God.
God.
Will allow people...
Just for clarity, this is the game that has 42 players out of 1 billion.
To isolate them from their friends and compatriots. In battle, this could be used a useful tool against them.
And apparently it gives you hands the size of your head. Yeah.
We've seen this, and there's more actual power-ups besides cancel, including bully. You've learned to bully people. Bully gives us the power to force people to do something they may not want to do, or to make them feel bad about themselves. In fights, this could be highly effective in targeting enemies. You can also...
I don't know if they're going to get into it, but the developers of this game have gotten onto X and fought back against criticisms of this ridiculous game and been like, y'all right-wingers, y'all don't get it. Incredible. I mean, if I had an employee that was a developer in my video game company that dared to get on X and fight against gamers, your target audience, they would be fired so fast.
Normalize.
Oh my God.
You've learned how to normalize negative emotions. Normalize gives us the ability to make people think certain behaviors or feelings are normal. But I'm not sure it will do much for us in a fight.
Do you have the ability to use a different image for your damn screens there? Like, how lazy are those graphics?
Just the same thing over and over again. Well,
yeah.
We came in and earlier in the show, you saw us use this right here.
You are racist.
Now, this is taken straight from the game. You know, I want to show this to you right here.
Is this unironic? It seems like a parody. It seems like a satire.
This is not a parody. This game was developed actually with taxpayer dollars.
Oh, yes!
Overseas. Now, there's some context here to this scene. We've showed this on the show before, but I think it's really important to show you this.
Well, something just killed the audio. Yeah, just killed desktop audio. Give me 1 sec here, people. Audio engineer extraordinaire to the rescue. Oh, geez. Shouldn't have opened that Apple application. Well, that was a mistake. All right, kill that. Whoa. That just blew up the entire stream. What the hell is going on? Okay, spinning, YouTube spinning. Okay, everything's working-ish. Wow, okay, that's... Huh. I'm gonna quit my audio application, try again. Holy shit. Wow, lesson learned. Don't open an Apple application while you're trying to stream. What the actual... Check, check. You guys still hearing me? Just gonna double check. The audio is still coming through. Check. Check, check, check. Huh. It's gonna be one of those nights, huh? No, that's not that. Everyone bear with me. Open live video. Turn the sound up. Yeah, okay, so you're still hearing me. So let's try this. I was going to move on to this anyway. Transition, and we're in. So this was actually the feature tonight was this amazing thread by the unfortunately named A Communist in Hong Kong. I'm not sure what this guy's up to, so I guess maybe he's a commie. You can see there's links there, we can check it out, but I don't care at the end of the day how anyone's aligned. If they're spitting truth, we're going to get down on it. And so this amazing Twitter thread that we can all get into. We zoomed in max. There we go. All right, the economics of lockdown. Man, I should get some, get a little bit of music going here. It'll fuck up. It'll take too long. Forget music. Let's go. Let's learn. In June 2019, the Bank of International Settlements published its annual economic report. This began with the statement, "It was perhaps too good to be true." The "it" being the recovery from the 2007-2009 global financial crisis. And this is stated in their annual economic report. Describing financial markets as jittery, the report warned investors about the social and political backlash against what it called the open international economic order, which the BIS predicted would continue to cast a long, if unpredictable, shadow over the global economy. How about this Apple Freeform app? Pretty cool. It's like the conspiracy theorist's dream. I can make my own digital insane corkboard of conspiracies. From a historical perspective, it is not unusual to see such surges of sentiment in the wake of major economic shockwaves. The Great Depression marked the end of the previous globalization era. This surge will clearly be a force to contend with in the years to come. Little House, hear you. Okay, good. So you're on Rumble. I mean, Rumble's really generally pretty stable. It's our best platform for streaming, no doubt. Of even greater concern to the Bank of International Settlements than the rejection of globalization, however, was the competitive threat to banks of information technology companies, with Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta making up 5 of the 8 richest companies in the world. Let's scroll down, follow that conspiracy thread. Quote, "This requires tackling delicate issues that range from financial stability to competition and data privacy. At the core of this triangle is the treatment of data. It will require both more than ever the close cooperation of different authorities, both nationally and internationally." In July 2019, the BIS called for, quote, "unconventional policy," quote, to, quote, "insulate the real economy," quote, "from further deterioration in conditions," advocating that by offering direct credit to the economy, central banks could replace commercial banks in providing loans. In 2019, the global debt to GDP ratio had risen to an all-time high of 322%. Total debt had reached close to 253 trillion. Germany, Italy, and Japan were on the verge of a recession, and the economies of the UK and China were contracting. And this is one of the things, for all the cool things about Trump, he was really bad for debt. Not shocking considering his business history. In August 2019, BlackRock, the largest investment fund in the world with $6.5 trillion in assets under management at the time, and since then risen to $10 trillion, published, how is this allowed to happen? Published a white paper titled Dealing with the Next Downturn. We wanted to link to that, and it's been deleted since this was published. Oops. This instructed the Federal Reserve System, the 12 central banks of the USA, to inject liquidity directly into the financial system to prevent a dramatic downturn in the economy, predicted to be even worse than that of the global financial crisis of 2007 to 2009. BlackRock argued that since monetary policy, interest rates on loans, and the amount of money in circulation was exhausted, and fiscal policy, government taxation and spending, would not be sufficient to reverse such a downturn. What was needed was an unprecedented response. Starting to sound like kind of 911 to anybody? It therefore recommended going direct. This meant finding ways to get central bank money directly into the hands of public and private sector spenders while avoiding hyperinflation. And as an example of which, BlackRock cited Germany in the early 20s when fascism took root. And this is when you had to take a wheelbarrow of cash in to buy a loaf of bread. Later that month, August 2019, central bankers from the G7 nations, USA, UK, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, and Canada, met to discuss BlackRock's proposals. And that's the link to the article. In September 2019, the financial crisis hit when the repo, repurchase agreement market, which by 2008 provided half the credit in the U.S., experienced a sudden spike in borrowing rates from 2.43 to 10.5% in a matter of hours. Oh, God. But rather than letting the banks fail and forcing a bail-in of creditors' funds, the U.S. Federal Reserve, following the advice of BlackRock, initiated an emergency monetary program, injecting hundreds of billions of dollars every week into Wall Street. Hundreds of billions every week. How is this possible? Over the next 6 months, the U.S. Federal Reserve injected more than $9 trillion into the banking system, equivalent to more than 40% of the U.S. GDP, effectively providing backup funds for the entire repo market. God. In September 2019, the same month interest rates on the repo market spiked, the U.S. president established a national influenza task force, a 5-year plan to accelerate vaccine development and promote vaccine technologies to counteract the pandemic. And there we go. Administration of Donald J. Trump, 2019. Executive order. Modernizing influenza vaccines in the United States to promote national security and public health. All right. Trump isn't all that. He's partially that. In October 2019, Event 201, yes, John Hopkins, let's go, organized by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the John Hopkins Center for Health, and the WHO, simulated an outbreak of a novel coronavirus that, modeled on SARS, was more transmissible by people with mild symptoms. Pretty handy. This is also where they worked out exactly how media companies would respond to quote unquote far right anti-vaxxers that would obviously have problems with this by calling them anti-vaxxers and racists and all this stuff. That was all planned out at Event 201. In December, the World Health Organization held a global vaccine safety summit for vaccine safety stakeholders from around the world, including national regulatory authorities, representatives from UN agencies, pharmaceutical companies, and funding agencies. On 17 January 2020, when total deaths worldwide attributed to COVID-19 numbered just 6, the WHO adopted the protocols for detecting and identifying SARS-CoV-2 set out in the Corman-Drosten paper. Quote, diagnostic detection of 2019 COVID by real-time RT-PCR. Ooh, overshot. There we go. Among its numerous flaws, this set PCR tests at 45 cycles, far higher than that at which infectious virus can be detected. At a stroke, this set the template for how to turn a virus with the fatality rate of seasonal influenza into a global pandemic. And this is, our crew on X know all about this. This was the criteria for using the RT-PCR tests. They were published and approved and then broadcast within 48 hours from an asshole German scientist. On 11 March 2020, with the global apparatus in place, the WHO partnered with the World Economic Forum to launch the COVID-19 Action Platform, a coalition of the world's most powerful companies that within 2 months numbered over 1,100. On the same day, the World Health Organization, ignoring its own previous definitions and criteria, declared SARS-CoV-2 to be a quote-unquote pandemic, and lockdowns were imposed across the neoliberal democracies of Western capitalism. Finally, on 15th of March 2020, under the cloak of the coronavirus quote-unquote crisis, the Federal Reserve dropped interest rates to 0.25% and offered discount loans to its preferred banks. By July 2020, the cumulative value of these loans was $11.23 trillion. That's where most of us came in. But what most of us didn't know was that the Great Reset of the world economy, supposedly justified and even necessitated by the pandemic, was initiated 6 months before it was officially declared, and not in response to a virus. What 6 months of monetary measures prior to lockdown reveal is that had the trillions pumped into the financial sector by central banks reached transactions in the real economy, it would have triggered the hyperinflation BlackRock had warned the Federal Reserve must be avoided. Lockdown wasn't imposed to protect the world from a deadly virus, but because the real economy had to be shut down, with most business transactions and consumer spending suspended in order to protect it from the vast sums being pumped into the failing financial sector. My God, it makes so much sense, but it just hurts. By April 2022, the total assets of the U.S. Federal Reserve, $8.9 trillion, the European Central Bank, $9.6 trillion, the Bank of Japan, $6.2 trillion, and the Bank of China, $6.3 trillion, had risen to $31 trillion, up from 19 in the September 2019. And at the same time that trillions were being pumped into the financial system, hundreds of millions of workers were forcibly placed on furlough for months and years on end by national governments, which effectively mortgaged in advance the future labor of their populations. In doing so, governments made sure that the populations of the nation-states over which they presided were pushed further into debt for generations to come, to the very financial institutions that had just been bailed out by the central banks with their money. Oh, God. Oh, This actually makes me want to like get out into the street, well armed. Globally, we're at the end of a debt cycle and interest rates are zero. The last time this happened was 1932. Oh, how did that go? These are the economic conditions for the return of fascism to our politics, laws, and ideology. This is the argument of my new book. Okay, so who is this guy? Simon Elmer? Yeah, Road to Fascism. Right, so I mean, in today's day and age, I mean, a communist in Hong Kong, bro, like I want to give you the benefit of the doubt because this research is so good. But if your argument is that we need to go to communism, I'm not going to go there, but I don't care. I don't care what spectrum you're on. You did the research and you did the work that we're not doing, so you deserve it. The last part of this thread. So when your government tells you that rising inflation, energy prices, and the cost of living are because of COVID-19 or Mad Vlad invading Ukraine, they're fobbing you off with a false explanation, an easy scapegoat to blame for the second global financial crisis in 12 years. Yes, preach. Preach. I was trying to load up my application so I could play my sound effects and have applause and stuff. I'd do a big standing applause right now for you, Simon Elmer. If you're advocating for communism, then basically fuck you. But you're obviously at the very least, advocating for cleaning up the financial system. If advocating for people to take back control and regulate banking, if that's communism, then I'm communist. History has proven that if you let those that accrue wealth write the rules, then they are just going to game the system, and it becomes crony capitalism, which is what I think most people who think that they are Marxists or socialists, I think that's what they think they're advocating for. They think, quote unquote, capitalism bad. But really, it's, crony capitalism. It's when you get it to this point where it turns into a giant slot machine that is obviously evil. And I think we can find common ground with even people that declare themselves socialists in regulating this the fuck out of the environment. It's illegal. It should be illegal to game the system. It's already illegal to price fix. So why don't we pursue the central banks of America and Canada and the European Union? Why don't we pursue them for price fixing the entire earth? I tell you what, it's a thing. And in the meantime, so the reason that I was playing this is that, these posts are now almost exactly 2 years old. And you hear so little about this. Instead, you hear, well, admittedly, I'm part of the problem, maybe, playing the pop culture social game, and that's part of their game is look over here, attack the gays, attack the Democrats, attack the Republicans, attack the right, attack the left. Well, meanwhile, we're just going to continue moving money around, and you all are going to wake up one day in a new depression, and you're going to be like, how did this happen?